Twin Cities' most watched newscast, News 11. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good evening. Paul Majors has the night off. Topping tonight's News 11, the best musicians in the state are being honored tonight at the Minnesota Music Awards.
The Minnesota Music Academy holds the annual award ceremony to recognize contributions to the local music scene.
More than 2,700 people have packed the Orpheum Theater in Minneapolis tonight to watch more than 100 performers compete for the awards called Minis.
Now, Melissa Young is at the Orpheum right now, and she joins us. Mel?
Well, Kevin and Diana, I don't know if you can see behind me, but Jesse Johnson is on stage right now. He, of course, is the main attraction tonight, the big act. There have been a number of performers here tonight, including, besides Jesse Johnson, of course, Linda Eller, who, of course, is the star of Star Search, also Trip Shakespeare, and Peter Himmelman performed earlier. We'll show you what he sounded like now. Again, back live, there is Jesse Johnson continuing his performance. Now, there were a number of winners tonight. We'll be going over just a few of them, 150 winners altogether. But among the winners tonight, Prince was the best male vocalist for rock and roll as well as R&B, also the best album. Replacements were winner of Entertainment of the Year. They also won Best Single for Can't Hardly Wait. Producers of the Year, of course, were Jimmy Jam Harris and Terry Lewis. Also, the Hall of Fame winner was Baby Joe Caston, a blues singer who died recently from St. Paul. Also, lots of other local winners, including The Wallet, Samoa, Trip Shakespeare, Willie Murphy, Lamont Cranston, Mary Jane All, More by Four, J.D. Steele Singers, lots of well-established groups in the Minnesota music scene. They should be rocking here another half hour or so, and then they're going to be going over to the Pacific Club to celebrate all their victories. We'll throw it back to you now.
All right, thank you very much,
Melissa. In other news tonight, the Minneapolis Planning Commission says buildings built around the city lake should be no higher than 12 stories. A plan for a 25-story apartment complex on the north shore of Lake Calhoun has drawn criticism from neighborhood residents. They fear if one is built, others are going to follow. The commission's vote over whether the building should be built was split, so the issue now goes to the city council. Well, heavy winds leading a cold front into Minnesota knocked down some power lines in Carver County today. And in St. Paul, in Rice Park, wind gusts were so heavy that a tree was uprooted. Another tree in the park lost a huge branch that fell on the street, narrowly missing 2 cars. And near Monticello, strong winds whipped up a wall of dust that created an ominous-looking horizon. The reduced visibility also forced drivers to turn on their headlights in order to travel.
In St. Paul tonight, rescue workers worked frantically to try and save a man's life. When News 11 arrived at the scene, paramedics asked for the assistance of our camera lights. Russell Erickson was administering CPR when rescue crews arrived. Erickson, a St. Paul paramedic, was working off-duty at the Ordway Theater, which is across the street where the incident happened. Police say the man is a transient who has been on the streets for about 7 years. Witnesses say the man just collapsed. He's being evaluated at St. Paul Ramsey tonight. Minnesota Viking Keith Millard was found not guilty today on charges of assault and disorderly conduct. On the stand today, Millard told the jury he never hit the victim and that the headbutt he was accused of was nothing more than incidental contact. The charges against Millard resulted from an incident last December in a Chanhassen bar.
A University of Minnesota student who said she has been attacked and threatened numerous times by the same man says she's received another letter. Freshman Mary Dews says that she returned to her dorm room Monday night in Comstock Hall and found a typed letter on her door. The letter was signed by Craig, the person she says has attacked her several times. And the latest letter threatens to blow up the entire dormitory. University police who are investigating the case say that they have little to go on since there are no witnesses to the attacks. Mary Dews has moved out of the dorm and has moved in with her parents and only returns to the dorm to study. A woman the city of Minneapolis wanted to kick out of her house can stay home. 73-year-old Sarah Everstedt was told today that she won't be forced to leave. City Councilman Steve Kramer called her and said that the minor repairs will have to be made.
To come in and check to see, I think, of the light or something there.
The city bought the house that Everstedt lives in and had claimed that the property was unsafe, but after neighbors rallied around her, Everstedt won her fight with City Hall.
A Minnesota trumpeter swan is on its way to Canada tonight to lead a migration exchange program. DNR officers captured a female trumpeter swan today on Lake Rebecca. The beautiful bird will be sent to Canada to take up residence with a flock in Edmonton. In exchange, a trumpeter swan from Canada was sent to Minnesota to live with the swans on Lake Rebecca.
And there's still more to come on News 11. If you're going to be out this weekend for the fishing opener, Paul Douglas says you may be in for some boat rocking weather.
Along with this Minnesota Music Award reminder.
For the ultimate in sleeping comfort, the ComforRest automatic adjustable bed. Your ComforRest bed adjusts, relieving back and leg muscles while you read, watch TV, or sleep. Now wake up from the best night's sleep enjoyed in years with your new bed from ComforRest adjustable beds. Visit our new showroom, 5005 University Northeast. That's 5005 University Northeast, or call right now at 572-8361.
The WLOL Incredible Prize Catalog Sweepstakes. Details weekday mornings on WLOL 99.5 FM with Hines and Bergman. Improve your chances. Get another prize catalog at any Twin Cities Racks restaurant.
8 people were injured when an explosion and 4-alarm fire ripped through a metals plant in Cleveland today. That story tops Deadlines. Flames raced from the building as rescue crews rushed victims to ambulances. People in neighboring businesses were also evacuated. One witness said that she saw a cloud of smoke before that explosion. In Amsterdam, about 200 young people rioted in the streets this morning after the city's leading soccer team lost an important match. Demonstrators broke store windows and threw rocks at police. It took about 2 hours to calm everything down. And in Newcastle, England, tadpoles exported to northern England from Missouri are upsetting the area's ecological balance. English gardeners are upset over the proliferation of large frogs. They say the situation has developed from crises to catastrophe.
I wonder if that's because it must be frightening looking. I don't know.
You call us, we can give them a few mosquitoes.
That's right.
But not in this wind.
Yeah.
No.
Windy weather tonight.
The mosquitoes are staying home. You're right. Hang on to your contact lenses and your false teeth. They will become airborne if you're not careful. The worst of the winds are behind us now. We had some wind gusts up to 53 miles an hour here in the Twin Cities a couple of hours ago, associated with a very vigorous, and that's an understatement, strong cold front. Temperatures dropped off from the 80s into the 40s from central to northern Minnesota, and it's this large temperature extreme that helped whip up those gale force winds. Temperatures dropped 15 degrees in 1 hour here at the studios. Well, big weekend coming up. The weather's not going to be perfect for the opener, but when you consider that we've had snow for the fishing opener, this forecast doesn't look too shabby at all. Sunshine will give way to increasing high clouds in the afternoon. There will be some thunderstorms, but the latest computer models suggest that they will hold off till probably nightfall in the cities. Late in the day across most of Minnesota, most of the day certainly dry. 1 to 2 foot wave heights, south to southeast winds, 15 to 30 miles an hour. One heck of a healthy walleye chop out there. Morning temperatures in the 50s. For the most part, you'll need a light jacket, but by late afternoon, it's going to feel like summer. Highs up around 80 degrees. A few selected lake temperatures and weather conditions. Sunshine Lake Minnetonka up to 81. White Bear Lake a high of 80 after a low of 47. Mille Lacs up to 78. Detroit Lake 76 with a governor. Leech Lake, some thunder possible there, 75 in Duluth. Sunshine most of the day with a high of 70 degrees. All things considered, not a bad Saturday for fishing. I think the earlier you get out, the lighter the winds will be, and perhaps the more enjoyable it'll be to land that monster walleye. Let's check tonight's winning weather spy photo. Check out this hefty cloud. This is a cumulocongestus cloud sent in by Jim Stadolka of Avon. A cloudy triple scoop. When you see this, it's time to head for cover. The thicker the cloud, the taller the cloud, the greater the potential for hail and gusty winds. Today we had a high of 86, the warmest day yet, a low of 45, just a trace of precip at the airport, unfortunately. Mostly cloudy, 57, a gusty north wind at 25, still gusting up to 35. The dew point 44, the humidity 62, and the barometer on the rise. Let's crank up Doppler. Since about 6:30 this evening, Apache showers to our north. We thought, great, it's going to get wet here in the cities. More thunderstorms developed to the south of the metro and moved on south. We missed out. here in the Twin Cities metro area. Let's crank up the satellite sequence. This is since breakfast time this morning on the satellite. And you can see some showers moving through this morning. And then it cleared out in the afternoon. Some thunderstorms redeveloped in the afternoon. Yes, you're probably wondering how you can do this with your hairdo. It is amazing, isn't it? Yeah, all right. You know I'm outside. Let's check out the latest satellite photograph, and you can see for yourself skies are clearing out across the northern half of Minnesota where a frost is possible later on tonight. Am I scaring small children yet? Let's check super duper radar, and you can see that patch of showers to the south. It's drying out. Skies will clear tonight. Winds will diminish. And high pressure is going to be moving in from the north over the next 24 hours, promising a beautiful day tomorrow. We'll be back with the 11 Outlook. Is it Friday? It's coming up next. Now the heck with it. I don't care.
Sharing the gift of time with a child doesn't mean you have to go backpacking if you hate the outdoors. It doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money, because nobody likes to do that. Sometimes the most appreciated and most important time you can give to a child is just the time you spend listening. Share the gift of time and really listen to your children. What they have to say might surprise and delight you. And who knows, you may even learn a thing or two. Share the gift of time, for kids' sake.
The triumph, the heartbreak, the spectacle. The Summer Olympics on NBC.
And KARE 11, proud to bring the Olympic spirit to the upper Midwest.
NBC News will be in Seoul because the Olympics are more than sports. They're an important world event.
And News 11 will be here every night to bring you the local news following the games.
Together, the 1988 Summer Olympics. NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw and News 11.
Working together in the Olympic tradition only on NBC, only on TV 11.
Well, you have to admit, it is a glamorous business, isn't it? TV news. Let's check out the high temperature map for today. 106 in Phoenix, 101 in Las Vegas, 80s across a huge chunk of America, and some of that warmth is on the way for Saturday. Saturday, the warmest day in sight. Tomorrow, high pressure passes overhead, upper 60s with light winds. Tomorrow looks like a beautiful day. Eventually, that western front will arrive with some showers Saturday night into Sunday. Meantime, look how it's cooling down to the north. Already 40 International Falls. Frost possible tonight north of Mille Lacs, north of Brainerd. Forecast for tonight calls for clearing skies, diminishing winds. Boy, I'm happy about that. 42 to 47. Tomorrow, sunny and nice. Light winds, 67 to 72. Sunshine most of Saturday for the opener. Windy. A lake wind advisory may have to be issued. Showers Sunday, clearing off Monday. Partly sunny skies and a high of 65. It's kind of windy out here. I feel like a Vidal Sassoon before picture. What the hang?
Well, you have to come inside and get collected.
There you, it's going to take a long time.
Okay.
See ya.
We'll find all the parts.
Good night, bud.
Good night.
Well, tonight, supporters of the Courage Center are getting some well-deserved recognition. Folks who volunteer their time to the center, some as much as 5,000 hours, are being honored at a special dinner at International Market Square. Paul Majors is tonight's MC. He's introducing those who are being honored. That's why he's not with us tonight.
And still to come on News 11, our Radio Day series takes us to a station that plays hits you can sing along with.
But first, this tribute to one of the best singing groups in Minnesota.
The day starts early for most working women. Lunch is packed, dinner's started, children dressed, all this before we even get to our real job. And for 1 out of 3 women, that real job is office work, demanding work that goes unrecognized. The people at 9 to 5, a National Association for Office Workers, understand you're juggling all this, and they can help, especially at the office. For some fresh ideas, write 9 to 5, Box 14567, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114. It's worth your time.
The WLOL Incredible Prize Catalog Sweepstakes. Details weekday mornings on WLOL 99.5 FM with Hines and Bergman. Improve your chances. Get another prize catalog at any Twin Cities Rats restaurant.
Tonight in our Radio Days series, a new way to relax. That's the slogan at WLTE.
FM 103, W Light has used that theme along with soft, easy music for the last 2 years. And as Asher Blake tells us, the format seems to be working.
sing along with. That's the kind of music WLTE has been playing for the last 2 years. Their format change from light rock has worked to increase the station's ratings about a point over last year.
It's 7:56. Vice President George Bush.
There is some news in the morning, but the main show is done by Orly Knudsen. It's music-oriented and mood-intensive. In other words, there's not much talk. The self-described crazy Norwegian knows how to work this format well. Orly, how long have you been in radio?
I was there when it started.
Most of the announcers we've talked to in the last week and a half say the toughest part about their job is getting up around 3 or 4 in the morning. But this guy behind me, he's different. He likes to get up that early.
You come to work, you look out the window, and you see the day beginning. And it maybe kind of sounds corny, but you can actually see the sun coming up over St. Paul, and it makes you feel good.
But what Orly really likes is the big picture window view in the new studio.
How many people can actually see the auditorium being torn down while you're working and hear it?
So you see, even if there's not much talk at this station, you can always count on plenty of personality at FM 103. Asher Blake at WLTE in Minneapolis.
And tomorrow morning on News 11 Sunrise, Asher will be live at KMOJ Radio in North Minneapolis.
Coming up in sports, we'll hear from Bobby Knight's prospective new boss.
And a state games competitor who gets right to the point. Tom Riley will have all the details when we come right back.
From the legendary racing heritage of Dunlop comes an exciting performance radio, Dunlop GT Qualifier H. Engineered for the precision handling and response today's performance cars demand. 60, 65, 70 series profile, steel belted, 8-speed rated, aggressive tread, bold white or black letter styling. GT Qualifier H. Dunlop, the world's tire.
Twin City Tire, your authorized Dunlop dealer in Richfield and Fridley.
I look forward to Saturday night. Bye-bye. Let's face it, sometimes it's hard to meet new people. That's why I use 1976-DATE. For only 50 cents a minute, I can leave tape messages telling all about myself, or listen to messages from single women I might want to meet. That was Sarah, my 7th call tonight. Believe me, 1976-DATE really pays off for men and women. See what I mean?
1976-DATE. Why not call right now? By Systems Dynamics.
Tom Ryder joins us now. What's the news tonight on Night?
Well, he likes to hunt out there. He likes to fish out there.
He'll do some traveling.
I think he might be coaching a little basketball out there, the way it looks now. Sources at Indiana and New Mexico tell us that Bobby Knight may well move to New Mexico to become head basketball coach for a deal approaching $500 million annually for 5 years. And Bobby's reputation has preceded him on campus. Many students have mixed emotions about Bobby's unpredictable temperament, but athletic director John Koenig defends Coach Knight.
His intensity has caused some difficulties. But those of us in athletics who have competitive spirit are built with a certain amount of intensity.
Let him act up long as he wins. Okay, the NHL's Cinderella team, New Jersey, kept its Stanley Cup hopes alive with a win over Boston tonight, evening the Wales Conference Final Series at 3 games apiece. Mark Johnson, a pair of goals for the Devils tonight. He guides the second one in here. That put New Jersey up 2-1. They went on to win it 6-3. The deciding game will be Saturday at Boston. NBA playoffs tonight. We have Chicago over Detroit. That series tied 1-1, and Denver leading Dallas by 1 point in the third. The Twins are off. They'll be riding a 2-game winning streak when they open a weekend series against the Tigers in Detroit tomorrow night. In the American League today, Toronto over Seattle, Texas leading Baltimore, Cleveland and Milwaukee. They're tied up in the 8th inning. Tom Bernanski, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. The Cardinals won a slugfest today. We have the Cubs over San Diego, and Pittsburgh leading Los Angeles. That is now a final. It is 7-4. And coming up later next month, amateur athletes from all over Minnesota will converge on St. Cloud for the first annual Star of the North Games. Tonight in his continuing series, Randy Shaver profiles one prospective competitor, young Sarah Cathy.
Sarah Cathy's first love is music. The 15-year-old plays both the oboe and English horn in the Greater Twin Cities Youth Symphony. But a few years ago, this serious music student felt the need for a physical release. That's when she discovered fencing. And now Sarah is a fencing fanatic.
The hardest part I have is trying to get somebody to drive me down here since I don't have my license yet.
In a year and a half, Sarah has won a number of tournaments and placed 12th in the nation in her age group. Success has only served to fuel her competitive fire. and now she practices harder and dreams higher.
Well, I really want to get to the Olympics. I don't know how realistic a goal that is, but I think that would be just wonderful. I'd love to.
That's why Sarah sees next month's state games as a mini Olympics. They're that important, and even her time away from fencing is helping her prepare.
Mental training that I've had from music carries over to the fencing. Because fencing is a very mental sport, and that is all physical as it appears sometimes.
State games are June 24th through July 3rd in St. Cloud, and Sarah Cathy hopes to be one of the many stars of the North. Randy Shaver, News 11 Sports.
Over 1 million fishing enthusiasts will head to Minnesota lakes tomorrow as the walleye season begins at midnight. Friday, News 11 will be all over looking for those special fish stories. Tomorrow and Saturday, our News 11 special coverage will have our Steve Carroll and pro Tom Zananko at the Governor's Extravaganza at Detroit Lakes, capturing excitement from that area. And Paul Douglas and I will be at Lake Mille Lacs tomorrow and Saturday with the flavor of the opening weekend, and also get some inside information from pro Randy Ammonrood, and then head out to get those big ones. And of course, we'll also be keeping an eye on several Twin Cities area lakes, seeing if those fish stories are the real thing or are they a bit embellished. And Douglas and I will head out at midnight,
I know.
stroke of midnight tomorrow night.
Believe me, Paul's really thrilled about that one, I understand.
He is, I think.
Thanks, Tommy.
Just ahead on the Extra, we'll wrap up our 2-week series on Vietnam.
Photographer Brian Augustine, who traveled to Vietnam with producer Kate Chaplin and myself, takes a look at the country as it was 20 years ago and what it's like today.
The dinosaurs are back for the biggest food drive since prehistoric times. Tuesday, May 17th, you can see your favorite fossils rumble and roar with delight when you share food with the Minnesota Food Banks. Tuesday, May 17th in Minneapolis at River Place, in St. Paul at Harriet Island and the St. Paul Center. Bring non-perishable food and help the dinosaurs stomp out hunger. Tuesday, May 17th.
Enter a child's world where imagination comes to life. Where life size is kid size. The Children's Museum. It's waiting for you at Bandana Square.
Tonight, we want to wrap up our 2-week look at Vietnam, then and now. Photographer, editor Brian Augustine traveled with producer Kate Chaplin and myself for 3 weeks in Vietnam. And on the News 11 Extra, Brian has put together a photo essay, Vietnam Yesterday and Today, what it did to this country 20 years ago, and how the war continues to be felt here and there today.
Goes down the drain and can't maintain her independence, ask yourself what's going to happen to all the other little nations.
They said goodbye to the war and took up the fight with the economy. And it's much easier to manage a war than to manage an economy. Every year, 1.3 million more Vietnamese are born. Roughly, you can say 1 million are looking for jobs. The Vietnamese, if you give them a chance to work, they work hard. Up to now, the chances were very little. Many of them have just jobs for part of the day. They're underemployed.
And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why. We're all gonna die, 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 die.
But we will not surrender. And we will not retreat.
We weren't allowed to win. We should have moved north. Everybody in my unit wanted to move north. What are we doing down here? And the bottom line was, we weren't allowed to win. It's important, though. We didn't lose either.
And I think that withdrawal would be totally unrealistic and would be a catastrophe.
Con ngủ đi con, đứa con của mẹ da vàng, du con du đạn nhuộm hồng vết thương. 20 năm đàn con khôn lớn ra ngoài chiến trường, đứa con da vàng lạc hồng. Ngủ đi con.
I want to go to the United States because I don't have my father. I don't have father.
Well, all these people crying and leaving and hugging and kissing and seeing each other for the last time. When I went back and looked at the videotape, after I'd shot him, I'd cry.
I don't know whether there are Americans alive in Southeast Asia. I don't want to believe that there aren't any live prisoners. I don't want to believe that. I can't accept the answer that there are no live Americans.
And I keep reminding myself to this day, Mike, remember how old you were. Remember, you were just a kid.
If you're a Vietnam veteran and you've been watching our series for the last 2 weeks, it may have brought back some memories. And if you want somebody to talk to, you can call this number. It's the Vet Center at 644-4022. Again, that's the Vet Center at 644-4022. Vietnam Today.
Nice jobs, all three of you.
Thank you. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
News reporting is a team effort.
News 11 brings you complete coverage of local people, local events.
NBC News brings perspective on the nation and the world.
Teamwork, the full story.
With analysis to clarify the issues. Background for clear understanding.
Immediate.
Factual.
Together.
The NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw and News 11.
Our team works for you, only on NBC, only on TB 11.
Your husband wants to grow up to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We're going to be new best friends.
Your mother-in-law's getting a little too close for comfort, and your baby doesn't recognize you with your do-it-yourself hairstyle. It's time for you to get away to Santa Barbara, where romance, passion, and excitement await you. Weekdays on NBC.
From stage to screen and punk to pop.
We've got all the latest from the entertainment world.
Join us for Entertainment Tonight.
Weeknights at 6:30 here on 11.
KARE now joins America's Value Network in progress.
What a super item this is for $21.50. Certainly every gal in your life would want one of these. 1-800-553-6644. That's the number to call on the jewelry closet, or closet, if you will. 1-800-553-6644. What about the closet? Close it. Close it? Forget it.